It comes back to left half. While among the forwards, Paul McGrath selected at top of the left, with Joe Kavanagh taking over at full forward from John O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll's fitness was a cause of some concern this week. Down are unchanged from the team that started last month's Ulster final. Aidan Farrell, the number 14, who was substituted in that match by Peter Whitnell, is the choice to start once again. In all, 11 of the players figured on the All-Ireland winning combination of 1991. Agus Adish, our on the Vian. There's absolutely terrific support here, in particular for Down, and they would appear to outnumber Cork by at least 2-1. As anticipated before the match, Cork are lining out as selected. Mark O'Connor there, going back into his full-back position to play in his 9th championship match. And it's Cork who won the toss, and they'll be playing from right to left in the first half. There's one switch in the Cork half-forward line where Stephen Callan has gone across to left half-forward and Don Davis is playing right half-forward. And the referee today is Brian White from Wexford. So it's Cork who play from right to left in the first half. Change strip this afternoon. Shea Fahy inside towards Joe Kavanagh. Larry Tompkins calling for it. Comes back to Donny Cullity. Now Fahy once again. Put in a lot of hard training over the last 3 weeks. Paul McGrath now winding up for the first kick at goal. He's found the range. Cork are in front, and Paul McGrath, the point scorer. Played in the match against Kerry, but was dropped for the game against Tipperary. I have Colm O'Rourke alongside me this afternoon. That's a very good start there for Cork.
Great start for Cork, and especially for Paul McGrath. It will give him a lot of confidence. He's been on and off the team over the last couple of games, and of course it's his first time back in Croke Park for a few years.
It certainly is. Greg Blaney has come deep into midfield. He's at his more effective on the 40. Gregory McCartan. That's stopped there by Mark O'Connor. Released to Stephen O'Brien, the team captain. Left-footed, struggling to shake off the effects of an injury over the last couple of weeks. Broken down once again towards Stephen Callan. Punted ahead to Colin Corkery, being picked up by Paul Higgins for Down. Corkery kicking, dropping short to Neil Collins. Gregory McCartan laying it down the line once again here. Conor Deegan, used to be the full-back on the team, up towards Aidan Farrell. Nicely forward there by Gary Mason to Mickey Linden. It's Linden against Cahalane in the early exchanges. Stephen O'Brien has it. Fell outside, once more to Brian Corcoran. Now Larry Tompkins, coming very deep indeed. Colin Corkery playing as a more central player rather than out on the side. Nicely forward there from Stephen Callan towards Joe Kavanagh, one of the under-21 team. Back once again to Corkery. The second one that dropped short, and this one very nearly put down in trouble with Paul McGrath in there challenging. Referee Brian White says play on. Down making a very nervous start. That's Eamon Burns towards Gary Mason, and the sideline decision going to Cork. Well, he's seen a fair bit of the action so far. One ball popped over the bar and two dropped short. This the latest one, Colm.
Well, Colin Corkery, that's the second shot that he dropped short, and probably should have ended up in the net. Paul McGrath a bit unlucky.
Mark Farr winning that vital first ball that came down his way with Gary Mason. Larry Tompkins now. Stephen O'Brien. Gregory McCartan. Mickey Linden now fisted away by Cahalane, and the referee deciding that Cahalane was pushing. A look of innocence on the face there of the Castlehaven man. Pretty quickly taken to James McCartan. McCartan motoring, looking for the equaliser. Dangerously across the face of the goal, nobody coming in it. Well, it was a chance.
It certainly was a chance. I think Niall Cahalane was penalised unfairly. He certainly didn't foul Mickey Linden, and Down, as is their want, to release James McCartan very quickly. Should have taken his point earlier and was running in too sharp an angle for a goal.
John Kearns. Danny Collety breaking it down. It's going to be a very congested midfield area there. James McCartan again. Defended by Brian Corcoran. Punted ahead, however. And this time it's Mickey Linden who's doing the holding on Niall Cahalane. And Mickey making his feelings known to Brian White, feeling that the jersey was being pulled. So 4 minutes gone, just a point in the match so far, that by Paul McGrath for Cork. Nicely down by Eamon Burns, getting the support here now from James McCartan, who switched positions early on. That's toe poked forward there by Stephen Calman. Good race for possession, won well by Micheál McGill, taking the free kick himself. Towards Mickey Linden, who switched across. Cahalane has followed. Gary Mason now advancing. A chance here to kick the equalising point. Good defending by Mark Farr. Mark Farr coming across there, aided and abetted there by Brian Corcoran to deny space to the Loughlin Island player. Well, that will do Mark Farr's confidence a lot of good.
Gary Mason held on very long there. He had a great chance of kicking a point. He should have taken it.
Shea Fahy contesting there with Conor Deegan. Loose ball picked up once again by Deegan. Ross Carr. Usually a man who can kick accurately, but not on this occasion. Down's third wide. So some wasted opportunity by the Ulster champions. Shea Fahy trying to win that, but it's Barry Breen instead, the man that got that all-important goal for Down against Meath in 1991. Aidan Farrell, first ball he's won, but a bad pass. Mark Farr taking it again from the Dohonys. That was an elbow into the back there by Ross Carr and Shea Fahy. Was a bit out of sorts, like many of his colleagues against Tipperary. Danny Collety pushed to the ground by Gregory McCartan. Now DJ Kane, the Down captain. He'll be hoping to settle down this team. Enterprising ball forward, but the run here won by Mark O'Connor once again. Gregory McCartan for Down. Towards Mickey Linden. Niall Cahalane trying to get tight. Looking for some cover. James McCartan's just ahead of him. He's holding on a bit long. Good ball to Farrell. Clear chance on goal here. Goes for the point and the sides are level. Well, Aidan Farrell, I think, had the chance of a goal, and he opted to go for it. But Linden held it up so well. There's the score, but this was a great move.
Yes, it was the usual Down play too. All their forwards had moved out on the long ball into Mickey Linden. Aidan Farrell goes to the way, lost Mark O'Connor. Could have had a chance of a goal, but John Kearns coming out and Brian Corcoran back on the line, I think he took the wise decision.
Danny Collety. That one is won back by Down. Gregory McCartan. Mickey Linden's jersey certainly appeared to be pulled that time. Farrell back to Greg Blaney. Trying to go by Mark O'Connor, trying to kick Down in front. But that's a fourth wide now for Down, who've had the lion's share of the possession. Created far more of the attacking chances. Billy Morgan on his feet there, the Cork coach. Eamon Burns, the injured player here. Medical officer for Down, John Gribben. Burns, who was the midfielder, along with Barry Breen, of course, in the All-Ireland final 3 years ago. Today playing in his 16th championship match, and scorer of a point in each of his last 2 matches.
Eamon Burns there flicks the ball back here to Gregory McCartan, who had earlier put in that very good ball to Mickey Linden. Obviously goes over on an ankle. He had it heavily bandaged as it was, but he seems to be okay.
So the team's level in this first of the All-Ireland football semi-finals as Brian Corkin is unceremoniously taken down by James McCartan. Picked up here by the very mobile Stephen Calden. Paul Higgins coming out, winning the race against Colin Corkery. In the past, Croke Park has not been a very happy hunting ground for the Nemo Rangers player. Still, Paul Higgins winning the free kick. Taken very quickly indeed. But the race won by Niall Cahalane. Mickey Linden had moved left, Cahalane moved to the other side. One possession. Good ball across here for Stephen Calden. Linking up with Larry Tompkins, not the best of passes. Won again by Eamon Burns, and Burns, I think, giving the signal to the sideline that he may not be able to continue. Mark O'Connor. This is one back here by Don Davis, so mobile. Mark Farr. Down's option, of course, would be to bring on John Kelly, who played in the All-Ireland final, then lost his place. Meanwhile, it's Paul McGrath. Trying to win something here. He's won the free kick. So a chance for Colin Corkery to kick one, as Down, in fact, are going to make their change. Eamon Burns is gone. Only lasted 10 minutes, and John Kelly comes on. Kelly from Carryduff. Had a brilliant match in the All-Ireland final 3 years ago. So Down forced to make a first substitution very early on in the match. And instead of Colin Corkery kicking it, they've opted for Joe Kavanagh with the trusty left boot. At least Cork will be hoping that it's trusty. Remember, it's a point apiece. And the angle just proving a little bit too tight. But it's Cork's first wide. Neil Collins here, the 29-year-old mechanical engineer. He's been the Down custodian since 1990. DJ Kane was fetching. Getting the support here from Conor Deegan. Deegan getting the free kick for Down. Disappointed now because the movement of the ball wasn't fast enough or good enough. Gregory McCartan. No relation of James. Kicked into space, Mickey Deegan. Another Mickey Linden. And Niall Cahalane. And this time Niall Cahalane adjudged to have pulled down down number 13. So a free in to Down. He can cause a lot of problems with his pace.
When that ball was being given in there by Gregory McCartan to all the Down forwards except Mickey Linden were outside the 50-yard line, so it's going to leave it very difficult for Niall Cahalane. Very much a one-on-one, and if Linden gets the ball and gets round him, he's in for a goal.
Gary Mason looking for his first point of the day, and this a glorious chance of sending Down into the lead. He's done it. So it's 2 points to 1 and the Ulster champions lead. 12 minutes into the first half. There is always the option of switching Gary Mason and James McCartan. Hill 16 today belonging to the Down supporters. Shades of 91 all over again. Ball, oh, Danny Cullity collided with Tony Davis. They're both down injured. Cork down to 13. The ball with Gregory McCartan. Chance for a third point, and he sent it over. Gregory McCarthy, the point scorer, 3 points to 1, and attention now required for the two Cork men who collided there, Davis and Cullity.
And this ball, Danny Cullity seems to be up and gets down, but himself and Tony Davis clash of heads there, and of course to put the two of them out of the game, and Ross Carr then was able to move forward, and Gregory McCarthy kicked the point afterwards.
Well, it looks particularly nasty. It perhaps will require a stitch or two there. Tony Davis and Danny Cullity, the other player involved. Con Murphy, the medical officer with the St. John's ambulance people. Well, a collision of heads there in their sheer intensity trying to win that ball. It was such a congested area there. Both players cut. Not quite a capacity crowd this afternoon. Cork preparing some substitutes across on the far side. Liam Honohan would certainly be an option to come in midfield if he were required.
And here we can see again a very nasty clash there between Tony Davis and Danny Cullity. Danny Cullity and Shea Fahy haven't been too well at midfield up to this. Down have been more or less dominating that area there, and any injury to either of those two players would be putting Cork in a bad way.
This is Liam Honohan here, son of Bob, former selector, of course trainer of limitless under-21 teams. Liam has never started a championship match for Cork. Indeed, he played in 4 championship games last year, didn't play in the final at any stage, and also made a substitute appearance this year. So if he comes on, it'll be for his 6th championship match. Now it's a question of who's concussed the most. Liam Honohan is in. He will perhaps come in for Danny Cullity, if that is to be the change they're going to make. Both players, both injured players, showing the scars of battle. That is Danny Cullity. And there's Tony Davis, the other bandage star. So Cullity is forced out. Great disappointment for the Newmarket player. He learned so much of his football in San Francisco. So Liam Honohan is in as a direct replacement, and I just wonder how fit this player is. When he's got a smile on the face, Tony Davis, he's able to continue. So both teams have had to make changes very early on in this match. 3 points to 1 down the leaders. Liam Honohan contesting, but beaten by Gregory McCarthy, scorer of that last point. Appeals all around. It's going to be a down ball. Ross Carr taking it quickly. Niall Cahalane allowing it to bounce away off his feet. Missed there, but won back by Mark Farr. Larry Tompkins now supporting Tony Davis at midfield. Withstood that challenge well. And the next one, foul in fact. Larry trying to get back to his most brilliant best of a few years ago after those horrendous injuries. DJ Kane is now marking Don Davis. Davis very much a runner in that Cork half-forward line. This is brother Tony. Claimed there by John Kelly. Without much direction, however. So far in this match, Colin, we've seen Down, as you say, dominate out around midfield. They've had the greater share of the chance in front of goal and taken 3 of their points.
Yeah, it's noticeable for every breaking ball. There seems to be a lot of Down players around. Cork don't seem to be able to get the breaks at all at the moment.
Well, Cork started that bit better, got that first point from Paul McGrath, but since then it's been mostly Down. Brian Corcoran. Micheál McGill there, just holding it up, getting support from James McCarthy. Tony Davis trying to win this one with Ross Carr, did well. Showing few effects of the injury. Nicely onto Shea Fahy. Started well. Now Larry Tompkins. Still Tompkins going forward. Referee Brian White saying that's a free in. Well, Down got back and challenged pretty well, I thought there, but referee Brian White signalling that it's going to be a free in.
No, I think that's a bad decision by the referee. Larry had lost control of the ball, and I don't think any of the Down players had fouled him.
Colin Corkery to kick this one. It's now 3 points to 2. Corkery's first point of the match. Well, he was such a star in the Munster Championship, kicking 8 points against Kerry and 9 against Tip. Fisted down here by Shea Fahy, won back however by Barry Breen, the Down Patrick player, Down County champions. Oh, a good deep ball inside for Mickey Linden. Oh, he goes down, and it's with Farrell, and it's a goal. A goal for Down by Aidan Farrell. Well, a move created out of defence by Barry Breen. There might well have been a penalty when Mickey Linden stumbled, but the referee allowed an advantage, and Farrell availed of it.
Well, again, the long ball up to the forward line. The pace of Linden does the trick. Tony Davis gets in a tackle, but he holds him up, and Linden flicks it off to Farrell, who's coming in, and he does well to put it away.
Pete McGrath now, I'm sure, quite enjoying the afternoon here in the company of his selectors there, John Murphy and Pat O'Hare, along with Danny Murphy. And the kick by Larry Tompkins, on target. An instant reply then by Cork. So a goal between the teams. Well, Down now will be hoping to build on that goal. Cork hoping to get back instantly. Liam Holohan, such a good fielder. Surrounded by Down men. Down showing the eagerness, none more so than James McCartan, Barry Breen. But that's going to be a free forward there for Down. Larry Tompkins appealing it. Ross Carr kicking towards Mickey Linden, a constant thorn for Cork. Difficult one for Niall Cahalane to contain. But he's put it wide, and he's yet to score in the match, but he has been creating opportunities. The referee says, take it back once again. No time wasting. Well, Cork weren't trying to time waste, they were trying to take the ball out fast. There's the time gone in the first half. Great leap in the air, super catch by Conor Deegan. Now DJ Kane, one into space for Farrell to chase after, but that's going to be won there by Mark O'Connor. Dispossessed. Went off O'Connor. Ross Carr. Just tailing towards the left-hand side. Oh, dropped by John Kearns, and Tony Davis hoofed it away as far as Don Davis. Brian Corcoran. Once again, it's Barry Breen. Some uncertainty there in defence by Cork. Once again, Down trying to open up this cover. Stephen O'Brien doing well. Likewise, Brian Corcoran winning it back with Mark Farr there against Greg Blaney. Touchdown there by Stephen Callan to Paul McGrath, one of Cork's 3-point scorers. Going away on the solo run. Outside it goes towards Stephen Cowden. Run back by James McCartan, fouled in the act of trying to pick the ball up. Free kick to Down. And James opting to leave it there after that foul by Stephen Cowden.
Cork forwards don't seem to be able to get the same sort of space that's been created by the Down inside line, and that's the reason for that is the Down half forwards are playing way out the field and leaving a lot of room for Linden inside.
Paul Higgins, partly stopped there by Shea Fahy, but it's once again James McCartan. He really is causing problems when he gets on the ball there. Ross Carr opting to take it. Reaches Mickey Linden. Had a quick look at the post, instinctively knew where they were, and scores his first point of the match. That's a magnificent score by Mickey Linden. No wonder the flags are flying defiantly on Hill 16, and each and every one of the Down inside forward line has now scored.
Well, good play by Down again. It looked as if the ball was going to go in long. Gregory McCartan kicks it to Linden, who had made his run, and I suppose that's why he's the best forward in the game at the moment. A brilliant point from play.
A switch in the Cork defence. Brian Corcoran is now full back. Mark O'Connor is right half. Brian Corcoran plays full back for the under-21 team. Tommy Hower there seems to be holding back Micheál McGill. Wasn't too pleased. Towards Mickey Linden again. Tony Davis trying to hold it back for Niall Cahalane. Reaches Linden. He's been on the ball time and again. Can Cork stop him? Likewise this fella here, Farrell. Outside to James McCartan, to Greg Blaney. Once again it's Farrell for Down. In the change strip. Back nicely. And Conor Deegan kicks and puts it over in this glorious spell of football by Down. They're the more dominant force. They're utilising the space, and they have a 5-point lead.
Well, another great point for Down, but I think Tony Davis is struggling badly for Cork at the moment. A lot of problems arising from there. Aidan Farrell does well, and Conor Deegan kicks a great point, but Niall Cahalane and Tony Davis are struggling badly in the Cork defence.
DJ Kane again. With a star-studded performance against Tyrone in the Ulster final. One back here by Don Davis. Shea Fahy now. Stopped by Conor Deegan. Back to Stephen O'Brien. Don Davis. Just showed too much of it to do. A very athletic DJ Kane. Now Greg Blaney. Through the centre. Mickey Linden having some work to do. And Niall Cahalane instead covering the lines well. To Tony Davis. Towards Colin Corkery. Not a major force in this match so far. Perhaps his luck will change. Here he is again. To Larry Tompkins. Well, difficult to ask him to win that, but he did well. Selfless running. Back to Stephen Cowden. Cowden, who can always be depended upon to get a score or two. And they really needed one there. A first for the Nemo Rangers player.
Well, that's a great point for Down, but it was a ball that was lost by the Down defence when they're in possession. Good running by Larry Tompkins to get it out to Stephen Cahalane, and great point off his left foot there. Down had that ball though, and they shouldn't have really given it away.
Cork have made a switch with Larry Tompkins at full forward, and Joe Kavanagh told to come out around the 40 and use his mobility and physique. That's going to be a free to Cork. Shea Fahy. And he's kicked it out towards the new Cusack stand. Pete McGrath by far the happier of the two coaches. Tony Davis left in isolation. Chance to set something up. Liam Honohan. Now Joe Kavanagh. One of those who've nursed injuries in the recent past. Fouled by Barry Breen. Billy Morgan there with Christy Collins on the right-hand side and Dr. Con Murphy. trying to make some switches to benefit the team. Great catch. John Kelly. Barry Breen. Now Greg Blaney. Look how deep he's come. Not such an effective ball. Straight to the man who might have been marking him, Stephen O'Brien. Now Stephen Calnan. Trying to go by John Kelly. 1-5 to 4 points. Down the leaders. That's a great score. A second for Stephen Calnan and just a goal in it.
Another great point by Stephen Calnan, running at the down defence, takes a lot of steps there and gets away with it, and very bad angle there, but still well able to stick it over. It came from a bad ball originally by Greg Blaney when he had plenty of room to give it up.
Larry Tompkins now. Cork trying to come more and more into the game. Stephen O'Brien, can he pop one over here? Inside to Colin Corkery. Tackled high. Cork at the free, and Paul McGrath says kick it from the ground. He has the option from the hand or from the ground. He was the player who was fouled in front of packed Hill 16. So a chance for Cork to further eat into Down's lead. He's 1 from 1 so far, and now he's kicked another. A second pointed free for Colin Corkery, and 2 points the margin.
Well, from a situation where everything seemed to be going wrong for Cork, they've regrouped and got better organised and are winning a lot of possession and very much within striking distance now.
Liam Honohan doing well. Down to Stephen Calnan, to Tony Davis, settling in much better now in the last few minutes. On to Don. Don Davis against Ross Carr. Outside to Paul McGrath, started the scoring. Looking for another one here. That's just Cork's second wide. Shea Fahy is now switched into full forward. Larry Tompkins at centre forward. And Joe Kavanagh is there, still on the half-forward line.
I think Larry Tompkins has actually gone out to centre field.
He's switched back out, yes.
Conor Deegan. Liam Honohan has made a difference since he came on.
There he is again. Chest tie, great catch. Showing resolution on towards Colin Corkery against Paul Higgins. Higgins will have to get tighter if this guy gets motoring. 4.5 minutes to go to the half-time break. Right in along the end line. Touch back here. Shea Fahy now at full forward, kicking, he's put it wide. It's a good chance, nice move. So now you begin to wonder what's happened to Down. They're losing vital possession. And in the last few minutes we've seen little of Mickey Linden, or for that matter, James McCartan. Again, it's Liam Honohan touching it down. Tony Davis anticipating the breaking ball coming out of midfield towards Shea Fahy. Getting inside there. Brian Burns is the down full back. Back to Tony Davis. Paul McGrath. Good ball across to Stephen O'Brien. Now a chance to go inside. Well, he's been in great scoring form in the championship this year. There was a partial block on that, and that was enough. John Kelly feeding it forward to Greg Blaney. I know Down people would prefer to see Greg play much further up the field. Micheál McGill in the overlap. Across towards Aidan Farrell, the goal scorer. Rounding Brian Corcoran. Corcoran getting back. Referee says play on, no foul. Touch back here towards Gary Mason. Mason, the chance to strike. And he puts it over. A second point for Gary Mason. Well, they'd been a bit quiet in the last couple of minutes, but then the ball moved up the field and Mason kicks a wonderful score, and 3 between them again.
Well, Brian Corcoran caught a little bit by Aidan Farrell. Out to Gary Mason, and again, great point off his right foot.
Meanwhile, back here, about 47 metres out from the Down goal, Brian White has had a word with Conor Deegan. Don't think there was a booking there. 2 minutes to go to half-time, plus some stoppage time perhaps for the collision there between Tony Davis and Danny Cullity. And Billy Morgan will be a bit happier, I think, with the effort put in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Colin Corkery from a long distance out. Has he got the range? He has. From distances of 50 metres and more, and much nearer into goal, he's absolutely deadly. So settling into a very good contest indeed, and we're really looking forward to the second half. It's so evenly poised, it can go either way. Ross Carr taking it down with some dash to John Kelly. Mark O'Connor, his jersey was pulled by James McCartan, the referee, right on the spot to spot it. Acknowledged indeed by James McCartan. Niall Cahalane thumped in towards his inside forward line, towards Paul McGrath in particular, came off the knee of Shea Fahy, back to Micheál McGillivray, down to John Kelly. Beats the attempted block. Ross Carr, always capable of causing a lot of problems for the Cork half-backs. Aidan Farrell. It reaches Niall Cahalane. The Iron Man of the Cork defence, Mark O'Connor, now on the half-back line. Joe Cavanagh to Paul McGrath. That's dropping well short. And instead it's Brian Burns out as far as Conor Deegan to Gregory Blaney. There's great movement in this match, some wonderful scores as well. And two evenly matched teams as Paul McGrath picks himself off the ground.
Paul McGrath, after wasting a lot of good ball for Cork there, shooting from way out the field and also from an impossible angle much earlier.
Mickey Linden. A buzz of anticipation from the down following, but his control just leaving him down. Still manages to get it back towards Gary Mason against Mark Farr, denying him space and time to Linden. Constant trouble for the Cork defence. Greg Blaney, that's a great ball. Cross towards James McCartan, getting in there, watched by Mark O'Connor and by the new fullback who is Brian Corcoran. Towards Joe Cavanagh, missed. Runs on Neasley towards DJ Kane. We're in injury time. And it's 1-6 for Down, 7 points for Cork, 9 points to 7. Punted ahead there towards James McCartan. Low centre of gravity, causing problems. Inside for Barry Breen. Remember 91 to Farrell. Stumbling body, still picking out Greg Blaney. High, put to the left and wide. Down with 6 wides from the first half. Cork with 3. But Down lead by 2.
One of the few times there that the Cork backline seemed to be able to group around the player in possession and put them under pressure shooting. Before that, a lot of the down forwards had free shots.
Conor Deegan has picked up a lot of ball in midfield during the first half. DJ Kane loves to attack, nobody really closing him down. That's a great ball to pick out James McCartan. Control just let him down. First touch wasn't good, so that's Mark Farr. Mark O'Connor on towards Colin Corkery. And that's going to be a Cork ball, I think. Paul Higgins, the player who pushes. Inside towards Shea Fahy, not able to contain it. Instead it's Brian Burns. Nicely out by John Kelly. Paul Higgins on for Conor Deegan. Lovely interplay among the Ulster champions. James McCartan was pushed. Mark Farr, the player who gives away the free. Nice fetch that time by Aidan Farrell, picking out Mickey Linden almost at will. The angle pretty tight, just a little too tight. Down 7th wide now.
Mickey Linden looking for the crossfield pass again there, but nobody came on this side of the field at all.
Well, when Mickey Linden moves across onto that left-hand side, he's got James McCartan there as well, two of the more mobile members of the down forward line. This time there's a push, and it's going to be a Cork free kick. Mark O'Connor preparing to take it. James McCartan protesting that he's stealing a yard or two. It's been a very tight first half. Down had some very good moments, looked the more dominant side, but a gutsy Cork team has come back into it in spite of the many injuries they carried into the game. Eddie McCarthy on the forward as Brian White gets set to start the second half. So just 2 points separating the teams. Barry Breen straight away into the action with James McCartan, once again being marked by Mark O'Connor. James perhaps causing some trouble here. Tackled well. Back to Ross Carr. Paradoxically, Down went out of it somewhat, but the concession of the goal by Cork. Here's Teddy McCarthy. Straight away into the action, and this is 25th football championship match. Played in 19 championship clashes in hurling as well. Cork advancing this 13 metres because Down didn't withdraw fast enough, DJ Kane in particular. One Down man watching this in Daisy Hill Hospital in Newry is T.P. Murphy, president of the Down County Board, wished well by everybody. Paul Higgins broken down. Once again, Don Davis here. And a knock on the head there for his troubles. Paul Higgins being called across, notebook is out. So the first booking here in the second half.
Colin Corkery knocks the ball down to Don Davis. A bit awkward tackle from Paul Higgins. I don't think anything too malicious about it.
Hard to see where anything happened there, but this is certainly happening. It's gone wide from Liam Honohan. Oh, that should have been a score, and he knows it. Gone into a very good position following the free kick. Larry Tompkins remaining in midfield, incidentally, alongside Honohan. Here they come jumping for it. Broken down by Teddy McCarthy towards Larry Tompkins. Adding a bit of resolution to the midfield. Trying to kick another point. Just tailing to the left. Second wide now for Cork in the second half, 5th in all. You think of all the training that Larry Tompkins has done privately and with the squad over the past few years. 2 knee operations to each leg. Few players would come back from that, but he has. Broken down by Conor Deegan with some great moments in the first half. Likewise, Barry Breen. Drop forward towards Gary Mason. Mark Farr, the defender. Greg Blaney gathering. Fouled by Stephen O'Brien. Down's free kick. It's as you were, of course, at half-time. Down 1-6, Cork 7 points. Gary Mason coming out to hit this one. Score of 2 points in the first half, 1 from a free. Down fortunate of genuinely good free kick takers from right and from left. And that curls in neatly inside the left-hand post. A 3rd point for Gary Mason. 2 out of 3 from frees. It's celebration time once again on Hill 16. So a goal between the teams. Two Cork men going for it. Liam Honohan gets it. And the bandaged Tony Davis, following that clash of heads with Danny Cullity in the first half. Towards Colin Corkery, where you expect to see exerting a far bigger influence on this match. Lovely run forward by Mark O'Connor. Great ball towards Paul McGrath. Breaks down. And the ball won out and cleared away out of danger. James McCartan, so difficult to dispossess, and that's going to be a free for Cork. Well, there was some great defending back there by Brian Burns when that ball went eventually loose there. Colin Corkery, what a terrific pass he played for Mark O'Connor to set up that movement. Well, this curl from right to left into the danger zone. Larry Tompkins, Joe Kavanagh taken down, and the referee says play on. Neil Collins locating Paul Higgins. Bad ball out of defence, nobody there except Mark O'Connor. All Cork in the early minutes. Once again, Brian Burns standing his ground magnificently at full back. One of the lesser lights in the Down defence.
Larry Tompkins goes up, manages to break it down to Joe Kavanagh, and he's bursting through. I don't think it was a penalty, but doesn't matter now. Anyway, the referee allows play on. But Cork have had several good chances and got no scores. Down had one chance and got a point at the start of the second half.
I must say my initial reaction was that it was very close to being a penalty call, but the referee saw it otherwise. Barry Breen. Enterprising ball inside towards Linden. Watched by Cahalane. He seemed to touch it last, and the umpire concurs. It's a 45. First for Down. So Barry Breen, who is trying to steady this Down team once again, leading by 3 points. Once again, it's Gary Mason who's come to take it. John Kearns is poised and ready inside. So many key Gaelic games nowadays decided by the free takers. An important kick, though early in the second half, 6 minutes in, to put a little bit more daylight between the teams. From a would-be score at one end for Cork, Down taking it down the field, and kicking over that 45 was Gary Mason. So the margin now 4 points. Teddy McCarthy, good catch, under some pressure. Look at the number of Down players around him, 3. They're protesting that he held on too long. Free kick to Cork towards Joe Kavanagh. Cork with the option still, perhaps, of bringing in John O'Driscoll. Strong defending over there, and it's Stephen Callan, I think, adjudged to have carried that ball out over the far sideline.
Certainly John O'Driscoll would be a help to that Cork forward line, because they probably need a goal to win this game, and he's probably one of the most likely to get one.
And yet you feel that if goals are to come, it's more likely to be the Down forwards who'll get them. Greg Blaney on towards Ross Carr again inside the 45-metre line. Pursued the whole time. Stumbled over the legs of Stephen O'Brien. John O'Driscoll warming up across on the far side. They declared him unfit to start, but I'm sure there's a good half an hour in this player. The injured player here is Ross Carr.
Ross Carr taking on Stephen O'Brien, and Stephen O'Brien clipping his heels from behind. And free in, I suppose. Big problem for Cork here is that Stephen O'Brien hasn't been very much in the play at all today. Greg Blaney and himself very quiet, but I suppose that suits Down up to a point. Cork for the last 25 minutes of this game would really need Stephen O'Brien getting the ball and coming forward with it.
And yet when you look at the spread of scores column in the Down team, their half-forward line hasn't scored so far, but they've been causing some problems, especially the wing forwards.
Yeah, well, the Down style of play means that often, because the likes of Blaney and Carr and James McCartan spend a lot of time out around midfield or even farther back, and then they play the ball into the space that they have left for Linden and Mason. So, you know, they're doing a very good job without ever scoring.
Here's Mason. He's doing everything well. A 5th point for Gary Mason. 1 of them from play, 3 of them from frees, conventional frees, and 1 from a 45, and it's 1-9 to 7 points. Broken down by a very determined Gregory McCartan to another Gregory, Greg Blaney. shouldered by Stephen O'Brien. Mark Farr now. Along the line it goes to Niall Cahalane. And he was pulled back by Ross Carr. And Niall stumbling away from that. He can take the free himself. Very determined footballer. Paul Higgins trying to contain, so far doing a very good job on Colin Corkery. Playing it back here to Brian Burns from Bryansford. Two Burns, incidentally, in this Down team, not related. Here's Cahalane again. Making a lot of ground. Tony Davis. Cork in arrears by 5 points. And then that foul of the ball there by Teddy McCarthy. Right in front of the referee's eyes. James McCartan against Mark Farr, and he seemed to be pulling the jersey of Mark Farr, I thought, there. And Mark Farr, for protesting, is having his name taken. Well, the decision that might have gone either way.
Well, that's one of James McCartan's little tricks. Gets the ball, takes on the defender and grabs the defender's jersey and pulls the defender onto him, and oftentimes then the defender grabs him back and free goes in. So
well, Ross Carr is ready to avail of any lapse, and in front of an attendance of 43,787, he has the chance to stretch Down's lead even further. Left-footed, kicking with accuracy. Ross Carr's first point. Only 11 minutes into the second half, and looking good for the Ulster champions. So 110 to 7 points. A call there, I think, that came from Teddy McCarthy, but instead it's left for Ross Carr to Farrell. Tried to take a return, comes to Gary Mason. Well, it was a good move, and it should have produced a better finish than that. Change being made, and John O'Driscoll's coming in. Cork, the final throw of the dice. And the player going off, it appears, is Don Davis. So can John O'Driscoll now make a difference? Cork trail by 6 points. They still have time if they're good enough, because we're only 12 minutes into the second half. Teddy McCarthy breaking it down. Well, here's the opportunity now for Cork to show character, real character, in a real challenging situation against a very good team. Micheál McGill. Free kick to Down. Paul McGrath kicked 1 point early on. I know some people in the crowd thought it might have gone outside and wide. Ross Carr having pointed one already in the second half. Ross now a publican based in Newry. And this is 24th championship match. Drops it short to Greg Blaney. Held in play by James McCartan, the little chip from McCartan. And that's sailing away wide. In further switches in the Cork team, Teddy McCarthy now is at centre field and Larry Tompkins centre forward. A complete new midfield partnership then from the start, Honohan and Teddy McCarthy. Here they are. Once again, Gregory McCartan knocking it down, but this time Stephen O'Brien was anticipating. In towards John O'Driscoll, broken out by the magnificent Micheál McGill. He's hardly put a foot astray. James McCartan feeds it ahead there. Mark Farr going back to run after it. And through the legs of James McCartan. Joe Kavanagh making sure he doesn't overhold. He's fouled in any case. Cork at the free out. Mark Farr. Great fetch in the air. Great fielding by Conor Deegan, and not for the first time. Towards Mickey Linden. Continuing to be marked by Niall Cahalane. Score of just 1 point so far, but he's created so much more, including the goal. Back to Farrell, who fists another one. A goal and 2 points for Aidan Farrell. The 2 points coming from fisted efforts, and the goal the result of some great enterprise by Mickey Linden, just like this latest score.
Conor Deegan allowed to catch a ball uncontested in the middle of the field and then puts it into this space again, and Mickey Linden beats Cahalane for pace. Again, Aidan Farrell does the sensible thing, punches a point, a goal on, but there's no need for it when Down are so far in front.
That's, again, Gregory McCartan in the thick of the action now. Paul McGrath. At one stage he was an automatic all-star. Back, and John O'Driscoll not quite on the same wavelength as Joe Kavanagh, and instead ball is taken away by Brian Burns, playing a great game at full-back. James McCartan inside towards Farrell. Brian Corcoran left, look, rather isolated. It's Farrell still, and this time he wins the free-in. Takes it quickly, but the referee says come back. At that time Brian Corcoran, now at full-back, was left a bit isolated. That's been the Down tactic throughout, to leave 1 or 2 players inside in front of goal and test the pace or lack of pace among the Cork defenders. So Gary Mason. So far Mason is 4 from 4 from place balls, from frees and from 45s. So here he's going for his 6th point in all, including 1 from play. Magnificent contribution, flawless kicking really. And with Mason and Carr around, you can't afford to give away frees, because it's 112-7. John Kelly lets it drop down, reaches Paul McGrath. Bunted ahead there by Stephen Calnan. Just a lack of cohesion between Cork's defence and forward line this afternoon. John Murphy there, played in the 1968 final, was a selector in 1991 with Down. And at this stage in the afternoon, midway through the second half, you'd have to say they're looking good for a place in the All-Ireland final on September the 18th. But Cork will not give up without a fight. Mark Farr to the wounded hero on the left-hand side, Tony Davis. And back there tracking him the whole time, but fouling him as well, was Gary Mason. Free quickly taken inside towards John O'Driscoll. And this time Micheál McGill, judged to have been all over the substitute full forward. Points separating the teams. With plenty of time remaining, you imagine that Cork will opt to take a point here. Colin Corkery, scorer of 3 points from frees to date. Really broke Tipperary's hearts, but struggling to get loose against the tight marking Down men, and in particular Paul Higgins, but that's point number 4, and the gap is down to 7.
Cork at this stage should be trying to isolate John O'Driscoll in there, and maybe Colin Corkery as well, and for the likes of Paul McGrath to get right out the field, and Joe Kavanagh, because whatever chance they have of getting a goal, they must isolate those 2 backs for Down in there, and they're also inclined to foul if they're left on their own. So Cork at this stage are playing into Down's hands by too many of the forwards staying in close to the goal.
And that, of course, just Cork's first score of the second half. It's been far more productive from a Down point of view, with 6 points against 1 to date for the second half. Teddy McCarthy in towards Colin Corkery, and a push in the back by Corkery and Paul Higgins. Neil Collins coming up to kick this one. Cork there in numbers, one more so than Liam Holohan. Straight at DJ Kane, caught it well, however. Now the play opening up for Aidan Farrell. linking up with Gary Mason and coming across with Stephen O'Brien. Mason down injured. Down getting a free kick. We're taking a look at that again, Colm.
Well, Aidan Farrell getting this ball and feeding it on to Gary Mason. Stephen O'Brien coming across. I don't know, I couldn't see too much wrong with that. I think he dodged inside him. It's certainly much easier to get frees today than it was a few weeks ago anyway from the same referee.
I have to say it looked incidental contact there, quite honestly. Stephen was coming across. I don't think he intended to foul. I didn't see a foul. Maybe from another angle we can detect something.
The only thing about Stephen O'Brien, he's been responsible for 3 frees in this second half, which probably all give away points. Gary Mason turned out of the tackle. It looked like going to be shoulder to shoulder, and Stephen O'Brien was set for it.
So now just 21 minutes into the second half, and the Down followers up on Hill 16, wondering whether their team has done enough to see them through for a showdown with either Dublin or Leitrim. And there's the Leitrim manager, John O'Mahony. In 7 days' time, his side will be here for the biggest day in the history of Leitrim football. What an occasion it should be, as Gary Mason's back on his feet again. Gregory McCartan from Ballymartin. In the league, he was kicking so many points, playing at that stage at right half, now very influential in the middle. They've got so many prolific free takers. There's McCartan, there's Mason, there's Carr, and they have an unbeatable look. Down by double scores again.
That's a great option for Down, having both Gregory McCartan and Gary Mason able to kick frees on the left-hand side and Ross Carr on the right.
Won well by Liam Honohan. Stephen O'Brien now trying to open up the Down play. John O'Driscoll going to step out of the way of trouble, caught at the end. Well, Cork at this stage needing goals badly. 13 minutes remaining. Tony Davis trying to gee up Colin Corkery in particular. So will he opt to pop this over the bar? It's well within his range. He's done exactly that. So just 7 points in it. Corkery 5 out of 5 from frees, but I know Cork want to see him make a far greater contribution in the general play, using his physique a bit more perhaps. Great kick out, nobody was picking up Conor Deegan, in particular Teddy McCarthy was down to mark him. Now DJ Kane skipping away from Niall Cahalane. Once again trying to burst open the Cork defence, back to Greg Blaney. They can be so decisive and deadly. Will this get over? Not quite, stopped by John Kearns. Fouled inside there by Aidan Farrell. John Kearns playing in his 33rd championship match. Farrell here, one of the newcomers. That's caught once again by Conor Deegan, but then Tony Davis in quickly to find Paul McGrath. Back to Tony Davis again, showing the heart and the commitment. McGrath once more. Playing very, very deep indeed, leaving just 2 men inside there. But this is Stephen Calnan. Played here in the All-Ireland Club Final. Won a medal that day. The trip, and Barry Breen going back there, acknowledging his mistake. And the referee holding up the play to take the name of Barry Breen. 3 players having had their names taken.
Stephen Callan again going straight for the goal, and I don't think there was any malicious intent there. I think it was just a simple trip.
Colin Corkery gets 6 points.
Cork at this stage have nothing to lose for their midfielders and half-backs to move up the field and try and get a goal.
Colin Corkery there trying to get the Cork crowd up at the canal end to rouse the team a bit more. Though not playing well today, they're still in it, and there's only 6 points separating the teams. Once again, the most influential midfielder on view here, Conor Deegan, takes it out of there to DJ Kane, transferred inside to Gary Mason. Mason, great block by Mark Farr, wasn't quite sure where it went. Greg Blaney in there contesting, Mark Farr. Free quickly taken to Teddy McCarthy. Up it goes to Colin Corkery. Now can he get inside the cover there of Paul Higgins for once? John O'Driscoll calling for it inside. 6 points between the teams, Cork in arrears. And again he drops it short into the waiting arms of Neil Collins. Well, he had a number of options, and that was the one the Cork team didn't want to see him take. Mark Farr playing really well this afternoon. The doubters were doubting the wisdom of selecting him, but he's done well. Once again, it's Colin Corkery who's coming out to take this. Just under 10 minutes remaining.
Cork in general have been very slow moving their frees as compared to Down, who kicked them all from the hand.
Good deep one. That comes off the post, but there were players inside there, and it's going to be a free out. Liam Honohan was moving in there, but adjudged to have been in the small rectangle and not the square. My goodness. Honohan is back in midfield. And Tommy Howard there bringing the attention of referee Brian White to that last little incident as we saw Liam Honohan racing out. And John Kelly and Stephen Callan, the players, being talked to. Warning sufficient. Not sure if he got the right guy. Honohan back in midfield. Well taken by James McCartan, known as Wee James. Maybe lacking in inches, but not in determination and commitment. Down it goes towards Mickey Linden. Defended well by Brian Corcoran, the makeshift full-back. To Larry Tompkins. Out it comes with Stephen O'Brien. To Mark O'Connor. Going by DJ Kane. Still down, leading by 6 points. It reaches Paul McGrath. Inside towards Larry Tompkins, having difficulty holding on. DJ got back well. Mark O'Connor now the next one. James McCartan there to challenge him. Mark O'Connor putting the head down. The support if he needs it. He does indeed from Paul McGrath. Back again to Larry Tompkins. 20 metres out. Tight. Space at a premium. Trying to get inside it. Joe Cavan has it stolen away from by Barry Breen of Down. And the Ulster champions lift the siege and cling on to their 6 point lead. A good lead by any yardstick with just about 7.5 minutes to go. Greg Blaney. Time to hold on, to tantalise, to feed it inside, neatly for Farrell to finish off this match. Oh, it's saved by John Kerins. The game would have been put beyond Cork's reach had that gone in. That's a great save. So Cork cling on. They've been on a life support machine for some time. Conor Deegan, once again locating Gary Mason. Inside towards Farrell. This time Niall Cahalane comes away with it. It's down 113. Cork 10 points. And Conor Deegan wants to lash one high. But he was going for the point and not the fans on Hill 16. Corcoran is now marking Linden, by the way. Cahalane is on Farrell. But John Kearns came to his team's rescue here.
Well, Aidan Farrell should have stuck it away. I suppose that's why he's been punching points earlier in the game. And maybe it's only postponing the inevitable, but Cork still have a chance if they could get a goal. But Down seem to be the more athletic team. And the 50-50 clashes, Down seem to be winning most of them. They seem to be stronger and fitter nearly all over the field.
Cork's preparation of the last couple of weeks hampered, and Billy Morgan will were there too. One of his stars today, Mark Farr. Their preparations hampered by a whole litany of injuries to key players. Down went into the match with a clean bit of health, and they've certainly shown it in this game. And so play will continue with this kick out for Cork. 5.5 minutes left. Down have been the better team. They lead by 6, but it's anybody's match still. Stephen Calnan to Larry Tompkins. Cork needing that goal. Colin Corkery taking many, many steps back to Mark O'Connor. In towards Larry Tompkins. Tom's getting away this time from Paul Higgins. Low shot, and eventually it's Micheál McGill who concedes the 45. Good run forward that time by Tompkins.
Mark O'Connor going forward here again into Larry Tompkins, and I suppose Larry knowing that they really have to get a goal at this stage, but a lot of down backs back there, and it's difficult enough to score without so many players around.
Colin Corkery, this time dropping it short towards Teddy McCarthy. The down backs have been magnificent, none more so than Brian Burns. Burns and McGill and Higgins, stars all really. Brian Corcoran winning it back here. Quite a tussle. Back to Tony Davis. Corcoran. And that time it's Teddy McCarthy trying to hold on to it, pulling down his man as well, and it's going to be a jump ball. The player involved there, Teddy McCarthy and Barry Breen. Gregory McCarty shaping up like he's going to jump in there with Liam Honohan. Honohan takes it well, and Cork get the free. High challenge by McCartan, round the head of Honohan.
Again, Cork need a goal here. They should be getting that ball in a bit quicker. Colin Corkery going across the kick, it is only wasting a bit of time. But
it seemed there as though Stephen Calnan was ready to take it, and a call from the sideline instructed the number 13 to hit it. And he's put it wide. A third wide of the second half there for Cork, making it 6 in all. And once again, it hasn't been a good afternoon in Croke Park for Colin Corkery. Cork fans, I think, realising that it's only a matter of time now. Down just needing to hold on comfortably. And to win balls like that with Gregory McCartan, once again assertive at midfield, down towards Greg Blaney, now around the inside forward line, with Niall Cahalane. Cahalane conceding the free kick. So the time then ticks away, and it's looking like Down will be here on September the 18th. Certainly the bookmakers at this stage, I think, would be signalling a Down versus Dublin final. That's certainly how it's shaping up at this stage. Roskar. This time to the left, but when it really mattered earlier on and the game was tight, he was putting them over. In particular, Gary Mason was putting them over. Just under 2 minutes left. Touchdown by Liam Honohan, expecting somebody from the half-back line to come onto it. Instead, it's James McCartan holding up the point of the attack to Mickey Linden, who'll break many a team's heart. Laying it nicely along the line there for Gregory McCartan. A hit and hope one, but Down will feel at this stage it's almost as good as a score. Down 113, Cork 10 points. Down have scored 7 points in the second half against 3 for Cork. Mark O'Connor winning the free, the foul by James McCartan. James limping back to do his piece of defending. Mark O'Connor trying to pick out Stephen O'Brien, who's now playing on the half-forward line. Barry Breen, he's made that transition from midfield to centre half-back quite superbly, and with DJ Kane there to assist, and James McCartan to forage. They've got a nice unity about them. And Mickey Linden here now, inside towards DJ Kane. He'll do well to contain that, runs on to John Kearns instead. Now Niall Cahalane. And some of the Cork fans making their way off, but their team is back defending and facing some further pressure from Roskar. Mark Farr getting it clear to Tony Davis. Paul McGrath now. Joe Kavanagh. The inside forward line, which really hasn't functioned well today. And this time it's once again Brian Burns emerging with possession, but he stepped out over the end line to concede a second 45 to Cork. Overall, Down's game plan worked very well. They looked the fitter team, they created space in vital places and took their scores.
Yes, and the Cork forward line in general had been a bit of a flop.
Late in the match, and that's where once again Brian Burns comes out, relieving some of the blushes of Neil Collins, who was under some incessant pressure. And Paul Higgins got a clap on the head back there, but they're fighting on. We're in injury time. And Down, who are appearing in their 12th semi-final, are about to win their 5th. Gregory McCartan now, well into injury time. Paul Higgins. Higgins across towards Gary Mason. Recovered back there well by Mark Farr. The referee having a look at his watch. Tony Davis playing it out to Liam Honohan. Honohan, who emerged as quite a star, and people will wonder why he wasn't started. Mark O'Connor played most of the match at right half. Still in an attacking position. Back to Colin Corkery. And Cork's top scorer, Colin Corkery, with 7 points to his credit, but that one I think the first from play. So 5 points separating the teams. But I think the Cork team, and certainly the Cork fans of the Canal End, will appreciate that Down have been the better team throughout this match. They've emphasised it in the second half. Touchdown here, Teddy McCarthy. Cork get the free kick. Well, Cork will want to put a better gloss on the final score, but they don't have the chance because Down has won, and Down are through to the All-Ireland final. What seemed on the cards and inevitable for a long time in this match has finally come to pass. Aidan Farrell got a goal in the first half, and he might have had 3 overall. And Gary Mason kicked 6 points, 5 of them coming from frees. Ross Carr also a hero. But overall, a terrific Down performance. Pete McGrath and his team will be well pleased to have emerged to face into the All-Ireland final with a winning score by 5 points. Down 113, Cork 11 points.